For those who are unfamiliar, this is Steven Crowder. This is a TV show, or I guess a YouTube channel, called Louder with Crowder. He's a far-right extremist who propagandizes for the right on a regular basis. It's kind of like The Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro, a little bit like that. I'm not actually sure what this one's going to be about. The title is This Would Never Be Allowed on YouTube, but it's on YouTube. So I cannot imagine that this is going to be tame. Let's just see what he has to say for himself, shall we? And while we do, we're going to play some Breath of the Wild. I'm doing the DLC right now.
As I told you, today's going to be a little bit of a shorter show here on YouTube because we want to tell you all the things that we can't say on YouTube. So today we're going exclusively to Mug Club. We'll be talking about... Well, that's part of the plan, right? Mug Club forever in the future, that none of that matters. So you can sign up there. So today is you can't say that on YouTube. You don't hit the stinger tool, man. It's okay. He's so overly
He's ready.
eager. He's
Like, you can say practically anything on YouTube. Now, if you claim that, I don't know, vaccines cause, mental problems or whatever, and that is not backed up by the science, then you're definitely going to have problems. Yeah, YouTube is rightfully going to kick your ass off. That's not a surprise. None of that is a surprise to anybody. But, he's got to act like a victim, as usual.
so overly eager. Hold on, I got to fix my headphones. He's so overly eager with the button there. So what we will be talking about today is a couple of updates. J.K. Rowling, obviously Elon Musk dropped some Twitter files. We'll be talking about that behind the paywall. We'll be talking about the vaccine. We'll be talking about elections, things like that. So I do have a question for you. After the people on Elon Musk have taken the poll and favored him stepping down, do you think he'll do it? Who could replace him? Who should replace him?
Nobody.
Comment, like, share, rumble.
Yeah, I would love it if Elon Musk were replaced, but who the hell is going to replace Elon Musk, honestly? There is nobody that would be worth anything at all that could replace him. And he's not going to replace himself with somebody that's, actually good. It's going to be some nutcase. You know it is. I don't know, Jared Kushner or some garbage. It's not going to be somebody good.
All of that because the algorithms right now, they help us reach everybody to let you know about, where we'll be going with Mug Club. You can hit those. So you can be generous with those, Toolman. Be polite.
Okay.
That's another rule. Always be polite. So, all right, really quickly, I will introduce Dave Landau is not here right now. You can go to davelandau.com. Hopefully he had people at Syracuse last weekend. They got snowed in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was huge snow. But between New Year's and Christmas, he's somewhere in Ohio. Go to davelandau.com. I don't have it in front of me.
I think it's Toledo.
Is it Toledo? Yeah. Okay, so that's Gerald A. You hear him. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Busy, busy, busy.
Yes, we are, baby.
And then we have in third chair today, I never called him this,
Do it.
Crawdaddy. How are you?
He's never used the term.
No, I've always
Okay, that's because it's a cringy term. What the hell is going on right now?
said Pops Crowder.
I think Syracuse snow is deeper than Dave Landau.
He has to walk around with a fishing pole tied to his shoulder.
Just got a little flag up there.
Ahoy.
Oh, right. So we have so much to get. Hey, show him
Dude, I have no idea what's going on right now or why I should care.
Superman there.
Oh,
Show him Superman.
I was forced to
Ah.
show.
Yes, that is one thing. Is
Quite like
but
hell,
merch
baby.
sales.
people have been
apparently.
asking.
Hooters
Yeah,
up there.
crowdershop.com. That still, of course, always goes to us. And, of course,
Okay, get to the friggin' point already. Come on.
Tina has the world's best gays.
God, I think I missed something important. Now I have to step back and listen to that stupid shit all over again.
News. In what has developed over the weekend, I guess in other breaking news, Argentina has the world's best gays.
Is he naked? Ew.
No, sir, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that was the gayest thing. I meant this. No, sorry, I meant this. This or this. Or this.
Dude, it's just a bunch of people getting hit during while they're playing or falling or whatever. I don't understand. What's his point here? Why is Steven Crowder the way he is? He absolutely insists on harassing and attacking anybody that's different from him, doesn't he? Jesus Christ.
Or I think this. Yeah.
He just caught people in the middle of falling or whatever. Why? Why does he do the things that he does? Seriously.
Wait, none of those people were touched.
No, none of those people were touched.
The wind blew.
The
Yes.
wind. Oh, no! You used to like soccer. Don't try and play like hipster now. Like, oh, I just liked it before it's popular.
No, listen, I do like soccer. I still like soccer. I hate that component of soccer, and so do most soccer fans. They need to clean it up.
Right. They hate it so much that they watch it in record numbers, unless they're women.
They do watch it in record numbers. I even tweeted out about it. I was like, they seem more interested in flopping than actually scoring goals. That team lost, by the way, so I was like, yes.
Well, we watched.
Jesus, dude. I feel like I'm missing some information that's pertinent to understanding what they're even talking about. But just from what I have picked up so far, they sound like scumbags.
Watched it because we have some South American friends in Crawdaddy. We watched it. It was as a guy who played hockey at U of M, as a guy who played your whole life. Hard to watch. Yeah.
Yes.
And the stands were empty, Gerald.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. Oh, yes, they were.
We can't. I don't know if that's where the Sheiks go in Qatar, and they kept it open for them.
Which game did you guys watch?
The final.
Yeah,
the final. The stands were not.
Yes, the stands.
I would be willing to bet every single.
I would bet substantially more than $1. I would bet
Wow, that's really interesting. So we have a conflict now. They have an ideological interest in making people believe that nobody liked this and nobody watched it, nobody wanted anything to do with it. But there's one guy who was actually interested in it with them there and watched it and appreciated it and is now arguing with them about it. That is actually really fascinating. Usually that doesn't happen. These people are almost always ideologically aligned with each other on everything. They're almost always willing to accept or claim or whatever that, there was, that there are immigrants that are evil or that, the gay people are taking over or whatever other ideological nonsense they want to spread. But in this one case, this one guy is disagreeing with them. That's really interesting.
substantially more than $1, that most of the stands were empty. We just don't know if it was for Qatar, whatever, Clock Boy's family. I have no idea why they were so empty. And we all have to act like we care about this sport. Do you like soccer? Yeah. Honestly.
No. A lot of people do. Holy shit. It is one of the most popular sports in the world. You think Kobe Bryant is big? Or like LeBron James or whatever? Oh, no. There are some soccer players that have twice as many like followers on Twitter or Instagram or whatever than any of those, the basketball players or football players or whatever. On a worldwide scale, soccer is monumentally popular. Holy shit.
Football, if you want to do that. Look.
Only when it's tough guys, and there's very few of them.
You mispronounced none. None. Crawdaddy, you were watching, right?
I know, it's hard.
I was watching a fight that same night, or the night before, Sean Strickland versus Jared Cannonier. He took 20 leg kicks in a round. A guy gets a...
Yeah, that's a real man's sport, right? Fighting, rather than watching soccer. That's a woman's sport. There's this thing called the F scale. I've been talking about it a lot lately, but the F scale, it basically stands for the fascism scale, and it was created after World War II as a way to determine if somebody would support Hitler or not. And on this scale are things like valuing toughness, valuing traditional values, religion, ethics, having an obsession with sexual goings-on, that kind of thing. Any of this sounding familiar? This sounds exactly like Steven Crowder right now, honestly.
A little bit of a cleat to the shin. He goes, hi, who am I? And then and he gets up and he goes, and then he's right back in the game.
Well, it's so funny because if they get the penalty, immediately they're fine. If they don't, they'll roll around for a minute and a half and look up every once in a while like a 5-year-old to see if you're actually playing along.
Yeah.
And this guy is a fan, obviously, so he's trying to play along with Steven Crowder here. He's trying to play along, make it seem like, these people aren't as big and strong and tough as the sport that you like, but he still likes it, is all.
Yeah, I'm saying a sport shouldn't encourage acting courses.
It should not.
And guys go down all over the field, they do nothing. But when there's a whistle, they'll writhe in pain until there's a decision.
Oh, it's terrible.
Why don't they institute a rule where if you writhe in pain, you have to go off the field?
They do. So they have a simulation rule where you can actually get penalized for that, but they just don't call it enough, where you're simulating an act like a penalty. And it's like, no, you got to call that. You just throw them out of the game. Like, it sucks.
So it's a game that now includes role-playing?
Pretty much.
And none of us that have played any contact sports want anyone to play injured. We're not asking them to do that. But really, guys,
just don't be a pansy.
Either.
Oh, my God. Well, I guess he's decided that he's going to contribute to this ridiculousness, even though this is like apparently his favorite sport of all time. Poor guy. Like, just fight with them if you don't agree. Seriously. I would never want to work for somebody, like Steven Anderson, for example, who didn't respect me, who didn't respect the things that I enjoy or talk about or do or whatever. Why? Just, like, do your thing, live your life, have a good time. What's the big deal? Live and let live. Can't you do that?
Get off
You got
the
a
field.
whisker rub. I mean, it's enough.
This is pink belly. No me gusta!
It was
Listen,
a 3-day beard.
when we go to Mug Club, yeah, exactly. When we go to Mug Club, guys, pull up, just search worst flops in soccer history. There's some
We can't play because FIFA is also really gay.
epic. Like nobody even comes close to some of
Dude, these people are absolutely terrible for no reason whatsoever.
these people. They go down like they got shot from the stands.
I know. You were watching, you're going like, oh, gosh, just...
Joe Lewis left the room. He was ashamed of
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
you guys.
And he
Gave a
likes the
snort.
ball. He
One
likes
guy
the
was
ball.
moaning so much he did his fire sound. By the way, you can go listen to that test pattern, of course, so on audio. Play it again. Play it again. You can get 61 seconds right now if you're...
It's pretty epic.
Oh, here he goes.
Dude, it's like these people are intentionally malicious. Like they set out to hurt people just because they enjoy hurting people. That's what it seems like. Why? Why do it, you know?
He's breaking some federal regulations there for sure.
Yes.
And for people who say, oh, it's because it does not hurt his ears. It's not what's going on. He loves doing it. He will chase fire trucks and do it.
He was happy doing it.
He was so happy doing it. He scared the hell out of a lady one time. It was pet. She's like, he's a nice dog. And she was petting him. And as she was petting him, I could hear the fire truck in the distance. Like,
Oh, no.
But his whole body tenses up. She's petting him. Like he's on a Brazilian talent show.
He would win. We should enter him.
We should enter him.
Absolutely.
Dude, this is a really hard shrine. Let me think about how do I do this? I'm not sure how to do this shrine, come to think of it. Is it like that? Yeah, I think that's it. Give me a second here, see if I can figure this out. Oh, God, that was so close. Holy shit, I almost did not make that. Okay. And then I put this up here on top, like so, and I should be able to get to the top now, right? And I just raised this one up with a nice pillar. That was actually really complicated. I think that's it. Got it. Wow, that was really complicated. Was there something? Did I see? No, okay. I thought I saw a treasure chest over there. That was hard. Okay, let's keep listening.
He's already been neutered.
It's better. He's more in rhythm and, beat, I don't know, the music stuff.
We weren't going to find you, Mr. Crowder, till we realized your dog was pitch perfect.
Yes. And you wonder where I get it. So,
These people think they're so funny. This drives me nuts, dude. These people are terrible. They're not funny at all. Even if it was like not straight up hateful garbage, it wouldn't be funny. It's just not amusing at all.
we'll take some chats from you here, actually, in front of just here on YouTube. But just so you know, if you are watching today anywhere, we are going to Mug Club exclusive to...
No, are you really going to Mug Club exclusive, you say? First time hearing of it.
Get into the Santa Crowder, and we give away a lot of checks to some families in need. There's
So generous, right? He is such a generous person.
a family's name. He did it last year. We supplied everything that people wanted. Okay, so you know what? So this is going to be Wednesday. And by the way, I do encourage you to watch this because a lot of the times people say, hey,
I do encourage you to watch this. Wow. That's something I've never heard anybody say who had a show before. They want people to watch the show?
I get it. There's no other program. Let's deliver some news to help season. I drove
Okay, this is absolutely terrible.
home crying like a bitch.
Same.
Bunch of crybabies in the studio.
You!
Yes.
You were crying.
I know. But I was blubbering. I was blubbering over the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict.
We all were.
Yeah.
That's true.
I was blubbering because I've seen his new dame.
That's one for you, Kyle.
That's one for you, Kyle. You saucy boy. So, now I'm sounding like a soccer player. A
little bit.
Saucy. All right. Speaking of things that are entirely reasonable, J.K. Rowling has found herself in the cross trans chest hairs of the left after
He is just straight up hateful for absolutely no reason. What's the point in being this way? Like, what does he get out of it? He's just a shithead. That's it. There's nothing more to it than that. I don't understand why he's like this. And J.K. Rowling is absolutely terrible in every way. You know, it's not like she's been a little terrible. I mean, she's awful. She's absolutely awful.
She funded from her own biological, wait, hold on a second. Let me get this right. From her own pocket.
Yes.
A biological women only rape help center in Scotland. Now, just so you know, these used to be known as rape help centers. Now, this has been met with a lot of backlash. The shelter, and it's called Beara's Place, is only going to be serving, cis females, women.
Well, you know what's interesting? My mom actually spent a lot of time in battered women's shelters not when I was young. She didn't go to the battered women's shelters really after I was little. We went, by that time we were involved with Jehovah's Witnesses, and she would stay with somebody from the congregation. But she did go to battered women's shelters before she was a Jehovah's Witness a lot. And she told me that she actually knew men at these battered women's shelters. Like, men went to these shelters because they were battered by their wives or by, the woman in their lives or hell, even other men in their lives. This is not that uncommon. This happens. Men are also victims of domestic violence. And pretending that women are the only ones that are the victims is just deeply depraved and wrong and sad. And the fact that she's intentionally setting out to only help women and explicitly, specifically exclude trans women from this whole thing is just disgusting. What's the purpose? Don't you just want to help victims of domestic abuse, no matter who it is? No, she doesn't. She's not interested in helping victims of domestic abuse or whatever it is. People who are assaulted or whatever. She's not interested in helping people with that. She wants to exclude people based on their gender identity or their sex or whatever other thing. That's the goal, really. And it's just disgusting.
Females.
Nary a penis to be found, right?
Right.
Okay.
Hair, yes.
Nary.
Why? Why are they like this? Honestly, why? What's the point?
Harry?
Nary?
Harry! Harry! I just watched it last night. Yeah. I watched the 9 series of murders in Home Alone 2 last night. My gosh. Guy would leave.
What are they laughing at? I don't understand. Like, what was funny that he said?
Looking like the Elephant Man.
These are like his hype men that just like laugh at every single thing that he says and does. Doesn't matter how funny it is. It's like he's hired these people to just laugh their asses off 24/7. It drives me nuts.
Deformed.
So, of course, look, this would seem like something we can all be on board with, right? No, Twitter trolls weren't happy. Not only Twitter trolls, but more importantly, reporters. Legitimate publications are mad about a woman funding a rape help center out of her own pocket.
No, that's not what they were mad about. They were upset that she intentionally, explicitly said she was excluding people from being helped by this. Specifically, she's discriminating against people is what she's doing. She's setting out to hurt other people because she doesn't like them. Or she's setting out to help one group of people but not another because she does not like them. That's the problem here. And again, women are not the only victims of abuse by any stretch of the imagination. Women are predominantly the victims of these types of situations, but there are still a great deal of people who suffer from this kind of thing. A lot. Like, a lot. And setting out to exclude them intentionally is just fucking disgusting. I just don't know how else to put it.
Here you have Queer Thassy said this: excluding trans women from a women's only service is no more okay than excluding lesbian women, women of color, or women with disabilities. Well, first off, if it was a lesbian women, like a battered lesbian women's shelter, you just wouldn't have the capacity.
You couldn't do it. They'd be beating each other up.
Highest domestic abuse rate of
Yes.
any demographic. So no more okay than excluding lesbian women, women of color, or women with disabilities. There's no such thing as sex-based rights. Notice it didn't say gender. Just how there's no ethnicity-based rights. That's the point of equality. No, it's not.
You know what? She tries to do something good. She's got this in her past, J.K. Rowling, right? She's trying to do something good in Edinburgh. She sets it up.
She's not trying to do something good, though. That's the thing. She's trying to do something to make a point that she hates this demographic of people. That's really what it boils down to. She wants to hurt a set of people for no other reason than to hurt them. That's it.
Pays from her pocket. This is not a charity. She doesn't even get the tax write-off for this. She takes no donations for this, as we know so far. And people are like, well, that's not inclusive enough. That's not good enough that you're trying to make a difference. Because you don't want anybody to come in there looking like maybe they haven't fully transitioned, and a woman is in there because she's been sexually assaulted and sees somebody coming in the door that looks like maybe one of her attackers. But I'm not saying
Dude, this has happened. This has been a common complaint from people on the right for ever. Like I said, my mom has been living in battered women's shelters with men for decades. Since my brothers were little, since my sister was little, this is something that's been going on. Men have historically also been allowed at women's shelters too, and it has never been a problem. You know why? Because suffering at the hands of an abuser is the great unifier. They understand each other. They work together. They help each other. They don't hate anybody or fear or whatever other thing. It's completely made up, all of it that they're laying out here. This whole problem that they're pretending exists does not exist and has never existed. From personal experience, I can tell you, this problem does not exist.
Trans person attacked. I'm just saying somebody who might still look more like a man than a woman.
There has never been a smaller fringe minority group of people who have more access to everything than right now. The transgender movement. Imagine if gun owners could mobilize this effectively. Jeez. Just think about that for a second. There is literally right now a movement, a protest to get into a safe space for women who've been raped. And it's a problem. They claim it's a civil rights issue, a human rights issue. Imagine if freedom of speech advocates, Second Amendment advocates, for crying out loud, your right to privacy, if all of you could mobilize as effectively as biological males who've transitioned to women.
Yeah, except this isn't trans people mobilizing right now. This is not the result of trans people fighting for something. This is somebody fighting against trans people, intentionally doing something to hurt them. Setting up a center that is specifically designed to discriminate against a group of people. Trans people and trans activists and pro-trans people in general could do absolutely nothing in this situation, nothing at all, and we would be in the same situation because it's an anti-trans activist that's doing this, that he's talking about right now.
Want to take a dump at Target. So...
here's the nurse. She's going to run a rape kit on you. And oh, my God.
I don't know.
I don't understand. I don't know. What are they even talking about?
For that.
Well, good for J.K. Rowling. Oh, my God. Name that movie line. Comment below. I changed the name, but the principle is the same.
It works.
So on Sunday, a trans gamer by the handle of Jesse Gender. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of this person. I know nothing about them, though. Wow, I didn't know they made it to Steven Crowder's TV show or whatever. I will not begrudge anyone their love of past works or a thing they already own that they take comfort in. I own the first 9 movies and all 7 books myself, but any support of something like Hogwarts Legacy is harmful. Fair enough. You know what? I figure people can do what they want, do what they're comfortable with. If they don't want to support J.K. Rowling, they don't have to. I never liked any of the Harry Potter stuff, so it's irrelevant to me. Completely meaningless. Kanye West, though, I did like his music. He's a pretty good example. Am I going to buy anything from Kanye anymore? No, I'm not. I'm not buying anything from Kanye. I will, however, still consume his music as long as he doesn't make a dime from it. I'm okay with that. As long as they don't make a dime from it.
Yeah. Piled on the Rowling hate train. This is what this person.
Rowling is asking for this attention. She is setting out to persecute people. She is specifically doing things to draw negative attention to herself. So I really don't care. This is like somebody falling over, not even like being tripped, just falling over and then blaming the person next to them for tripping them when they were the ones that did it in the first place. I'm going to restart this fight. Let's keep listening to Crowder.
Person said, I will not begrudge anyone their love of past works or thing. That's misspelled, obviously. They already own that they take comfort in. I own the first 9 movies and all 7 books myself, but any support of something like Hogwarts Legacy, I believe is the new video game, is harmful. So J.K. Rowling responded to that saying, Jessie Gender, I'm deeply disappointed. Jessie Gender doesn't realize pure think is incompatible with owning anything connected with me in any form. The truly righteous wouldn't just burn their books and movies, but the local library, anything with an owl on it, and their own pet dogs.
Okay, well, obviously what J.K. Rowling is doing here is making an incredibly hyperbolic statement intentionally to make her seem like this is a completely unreasonable position to hold, when in reality, it is perfectly reasonable. Like I said, I don't support Kanye West in anything that he does anymore. I will not allow him to get a penny out of me. Not one penny, which means not listening to a single song on streaming services. Not one. I'm not going to support hate and, I'm not going to support vile hatred. That's all. Now, J.K. Rowling set this situation up intentionally to feel persecuted. So it doesn't surprise me that she did something, announced it like this, did something hateful, set up a center for domestic violence or whatever it was. I don't even remember now. She set the center up and specifically discriminated against a group of people that she does not like. She knew. Then she goes out there and announces it, knowing the response she'd get, and she goes through every response that she gets, looking for somebody to attack. That is J.K. Rowling's way.
Hashtag do better. Now, here's the thing. I know you're going to say, well, there's just a few Twitter people. Okay. And by the way, J.K. Rowling is not a conservative. She's not right-wing in any capacity.
Yes, she is. She's most definitely right-wing now. Isn't she friends with Ben Shapiro or something?
At all, just to be clear. Just believes that if you have a penis and testicles, that you're not a woman. That's all.
Shocker.
That you're not a female. I know we're a little bit confused because Admiral Levine, first 4-star female. It's bullcrap. Just don't buy the rules at gender.
Admiral Levine? Who the hell is Admiral Levine? I've never heard of this Admiral Levine fellow that we're talking about here.
And sex are separate. They don't even believe it themselves. This is what they write when they're at this point. When they come to that impasse, it really is the same. We want to have access to everything because it's sports. Remember early on?
No, we just I'm not trans, but all I'm asking for is for people to not specifically set out to discriminate against people. That's all. That was the whole goal here. That was the whole point.
Well, we're not talking about sports. We're talking about gender is separate. That's biological sex. Well, here we are now. Oh, no, we're not talking about biological women's only. We're not talking about, pregnancy tests. Well, that's where we are right now. So the impartial journalists at Forbes had this to say about the exchange. J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series, has become the most prominent face and voice in the world of anti-trans rhetoric.
What?
That's true. Yeah, she's like the foremost voice on anti-trans rhetoric now, for sure.
Anti-trans rhetoric by opening up a rape center for women. End sentence.
Every good deed goes unpunished, right?
No good deed goes unpunished.
In her case, every good deed
goes punished.
Gets punished.
Do you want to restate it for the jury?
No good deed goes unpunished. Every good deed from J.K. Rowling goes punished.
That's why I love you.
Is punished. It's punished.
It's punishable.
And completely privately funded.
Yes.
Which is,
yeah.
Yes. It's just like they just signed the marriage equality. Don't you just love how they compare race to gender to sexual preference? Gosh, people.
It's all discrimination against people for an intrinsic quality about them. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all that they're compared here.
Who actually push for, black people in this country who are discriminated against, who push for you guys and gals have got to be pissed. Pissed.
But by the way, I'm struggling kind of with the procession here. If a man, horrible person, rapist, tries to rape a transgender person who when he gets down to the business of it's terrible. It's
in
still
a
crime.
total hypothetical scenario
Total
that has never
hypothetical
happened,
that
of
we've
course.
never seen
There would
before.
never be a woman at this rape center, for example, who maybe was sexually assaulted or harassed by a trans man who might want
Not
to say
the other way around. No.
I mean, you can come up with all kinds of ridiculous scenarios to fit whatever you want your whatever to fit. But like I said, women have been living with battered men in, these centers since the dawn of time, since the beginning. Like my mom lived with battered men in these shelters. There's nothing new about this.
It's never happened.
Yeah, never happened in the history of man. What I'm saying is, when he gets down to the undercarriage and sees that the parts aren't compatible to what he thought was going to be there, won't they typically, how do they continue on?
What are you asking me, Gerald?
We're saying
so confused.
if you got sword fighting going on there, like wouldn't a rapist who's trying to rape somebody who looks like a woman and finds out she's not a woman, wouldn't he probably rethink? I mean, he's not going to be like, well, I got this far.
I don't know about if they're going to think. So here's the fact.
Still a crime.
Here are the facts, by the way, on J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling not conservative at all, just to be clear. She has an unbelievable history.
No, she's most definitely conservative. She has been conservative for a while now.
Of leaning left. So, including, by the way, making her characters more inclusive, more diverse. Hermione is now black. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying, like, Hermione's black because I don't care. I'm an adult. I don't watch those movies.
What? Hermione is black? What is he talking about? I have not heard a word about this. Is this made up?
But she even made Dumbledore, and more offensive, Dumbledore played by Jude Law, who, by the way, could make a lot of straight men question themselves. But she even made Dumbledore gay.
When I was young, I was committed to me, to us. I went along because I was in love with you.
Then they role-played as the prisoners of Azkaban.
Should have seen where they stuffed
Dobby! Just put me under the stairs! Put me under the stairs! Help! It's covered us! Look, the point isn't...
Seriously, I don't know why they think they're funny. I don't get it. Like, it makes no sense to me at all.
Okay, Dumbledore's gay, Hermione's black, and she's like, and, I just think that women should have a space, because, look, let's just go through. The left always talks about, they use the term trigger warning. Okay, trigger warning, being triggered is an actual psychological term, and I hate that it's sort of...
That's true. It is. It is a psychological term. It relates to... God, dude. I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this, honestly, now. I should look it up, probably. Like, how do you beat this? I've beaten this, like, a billion times, but I am totally lost. Anyway, let's keep listening.
...have been used because there are people, for example, very tough guys, coming back from war. Marines, where their PTSD can actually be triggered, right, from a traumatic event. If your traumatic event involves being sexually assaulted, right, with the tool primarily being used, a penis, it would make sense that you wouldn't want penises around.
No. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. You don't even have to experience... okay, so if you're exposed to that, sure, that could be a problem, specifically. PTSD is completely independent, or can be completely independent of any, of the bad experiences that you have. Like, there can be certain triggers that you can have. Like, for example, playing the violin very softly around me is a PTSD trigger for me. It sends me into flashbacks. I could close my eyes and I specifically these things see, like, shelves being pulled down, blood on the walls, phone cords being ripped out of the walls. Those specific things I see. I don't understand the pictures flashing in front of me, where they came from or what they mean or anything, but it puts me in a state of hyper awareness. My stress level is through the roof. I have this pain in my chest that builds and builds and builds, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, and I stay that way for like a day sometimes. That's a full-blown trigger. But I don't have to hear the violin playing to feel the results of PTSD. I can also feel the result of it from hearing loud pops or something falling on the floor or banging or fireworks or something like that. All of these things can cause it. It's not just the violin. Now, if somebody walked up to a woman who had been assaulted like that and pulled their stuff out, I suppose that, if that was one of the triggers, then I suppose that could be a problem. But being around a man in the first place is not usually a trigger. And if it is, that's entirely too broad, because she has to live in a society, and you cannot live in a society without being, and you cannot live in a society and simultaneously be completely separate from men. Like, men are part of the society, so you're going to have to go through voluntary exposure therapy, where you slowly, gradually expose yourself to the trigger to desensitize yourself to it, basically. That is how you deal with PTSD. But this guy doesn't know any of that. Probably doesn't even care. Hell, maybe he does know it. But he's going to do everything he can to twist things around and lie about it and make people think that having a woman being around a man at all is a problem. There is no issue with men being in battered women's shelters or SA shelters or assault shelters or whatever else. It's fine. It's never been a problem up to this moment in history.
These women when they require a safe space.
It's fair.
That would be a legitimate trigger.
Yeah, if somebody was exposing themselves to people, maybe. Depending on how they were assaulted, it does not have to have anything to do with what he described here. Like, that could be completely made up. And if they really are dealing with, like, a serious trigger like that, they should be probably separated from the general populace anyways, like, until they can figure out how to deal with the triggers that, through voluntary exposure and stuff. All this stuff that he's laying out here is completely made up. This is not how it works. This is just used as a bludgeon to hurt others. That's it. That's all there is to it. I have a PTS trigger of people touching me from behind / putting your hands on my shoulders from behind. I was assaulted by men and women. I hate men like him. Yeah, absolutely agreed. It's disgusting. Again, I was not sexually assaulted. I was physically, it was domestic violence that caused my PTSD.
A penis trigger. So no penises. That's all.
There you go.
Okay, sure. Don't whip it out in front of anybody. That could be a trigger to people, for sure. Nobody should be whipping it out in front of anybody. Problem solved.
Seems like a good policy.
It would seem like a reasonable policy, but that's me, Mr. Old-Fashioned.
No, Mr. Uninformed. That's really the problem. He has no idea what he's talking about. He's not talking about psychological literature. He's not consulting with psychologists that are in the field and work with people on this stuff. He's just using intuition to come to incorrect conclusions. Quick bit of advice for you here. Don't use intuition to come to conclusions. Ever. You can use intuition to tip you off that maybe something is a bad idea or maybe something is up or whatever. Look into it more and get into the literature, the studies, to find if your intuition was correct. Don't ever trust your intuition on anything, like, without question. That's stupid. That leads to this.
And in light of course, the anti-trans comments, unfortunately, this is why you don't bend the knee to the mob. Rowling's latest adjustment does seem a little bit, I think it might be tongue-in-cheek. If it is, it's mean-spirited. Rowling announced that she will be remaking the entire Harry Potter series and that the role of Voldemort now will be cast as Caitlyn Jenner. So that is, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, that's certainly a joke, right? I hope it's a joke, but, you can't even really tell anymore what's a joke and what isn't because it's so ridiculous. I think it's a joke. Conservative humor is so incredibly boring. The irony is people like Steven Crowder enjoy mocking people for needing a safe space. Yeah, absolutely. Suddenly he's in favor of safe spaces. Weird, huh? Out of nowhere. Like, suddenly he thinks this is a real problem, that people won't get the safe spaces that they need. Huh.
You do a pretty good Caitlyn Jenner there, Crawdaddy.
You forced me to dress
Yes,
that way. That's why I was believable. I was passable.
Give us your Caitlyn Jenner.
My size 13 triple E.
Oh.
Yeah. You chose to make it the Sharon Stone Caitlyn Jenner. That was your call.
I
Like, why are they obsessed with being malicious and hurting people maliciously? How much do you want to bet they mock SA victims on other days? Oh, 100%. No doubt about it. I would be surprised if they don't. Yeah, it's just malice all the way down with them. Like malicious, hateful bullshit all the way down. How do they live with themselves? An apparent complete lack of empathy. They don't care about anybody or anything, apparently. It's honestly disturbing that there are people out there like this. Like, what the hell?
So probably the most incredible athlete of the 70s.
I
This
know.
is so amazing.
She won those gold medals. You know what?
Talking about Caitlyn Jenner, I think, no.
A woman in a sea of men. She blew past that glass ceiling.
I don't think that's how it works, but okay.
That is how it works.
Fine.
Here's the thing. It doesn't work consistently at all. Caitlyn Jenner didn't win a medal, but Elliot Page has all the IMDb credits. How is any of this consistent? So how about this? Until you figure it out, a rape kit, and of course a rape center or a battered women's shelter should be for biological females. How about that?
It's already been figured out. Like, people have no problem with... The only person that has a problem with this is Steven Crowder, basically, and the far-right extremists who don't understand that psychologists worked out the best way to protect people a long time ago. Not just the best way to protect people, but the best way to be inclusive and help everybody. This is a fabricated problem that does not exist in society, but he will do everything he can to make it seem like it does. Because if he can make it seem like this problem exists, then he can be vindicated in hating people.
Until you figure it out. Until everything is consistent, Caitlyn Jenner has the medal.
It is all consistent. It's all been figured out. You're the only one that has a problem with this, Stephen.
Just like Elliot Page has the IMDb credits. Until everything lines up and is consistently addressed, okay, there need to be places for women only. And by the way, for men only. The only problem is there's no men's curves. It just becomes a Fauci bathhouse. There's no way to do men-only spaces these days without it just getting away from you. It could be whatever, the Argentina
What? What is he talking about? I don't understand.
soccer club.
That way, well, I wouldn't call those men.
No. So, all right. Let's take let's take a chat or two. And by the way, again, if you did enter your email, I would ask that you enter it in again just for security, right? Having redundancies helps at mugclubforever.com. And let's take a chat first, and then we'll get back to that.
Okay. Yeah. So we asked this last show, but we're getting a ton of repeat questions, so I just wanted to put it out there again. Chicken Strangler and someone named Krista Y both want to know, where are all the old videos going to be available for future viewing? I'm letting my Blaze expire, but will old episodes ban content transferred to the new location?
Right. Because I guess Steven Crowder is moving away from the Blaze because he was part of the Blaze network, which is Glenn Beck's network. Okay, interesting. I keep wanting to say Steven Anderson. You guys know Steven Anderson, that nutcase, that the leader of the NIFB? Oh my God, dude.
When it's decided.
Oh, yeah. So look, we're going to have, obviously we have the episodes wherever Mug Club ends up being, when, where, and if. And again, this is why you're signing up at mugclubforever.com. I say Mug Club, but of course Louder with Crowder. And on YouTube, nothing's changing.
So just to be clear on the newsletter, maybe some.
Oh, hold on a second. No. If you go to mugclubforever.com, just to be clear, do not enter in your email unless you are in or want to sign up for Mug Club when it relaunches, along with whatever may be included in that. So no, it's not a newsletter.
Not a newsletter.
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
not a merch or anything.
No. Do not enter your email in at mugclubforever.com.
Okay, I have no idea what he's going on about, but I feel like now he's just trying to hawk his wares, hawk his cheap shit. So, yeah, sorry. I'm done with you, Steven Crowder. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the comments. This guy is just depraved, honestly. What is wrong with him? Jesus Christ. Yeah, let me know what you think.